No, we're not live yet, but now we are. So we're live today, and I am so pleased to have with us Martika Wiley, who has been a very active member of the 40-Day Growth and Prosperity Mastermind. So first, let me tell you who I am. My name is Dr. Katie Nall, and I am a Florida mathematician and a TEDx speaker. What I do is I help people dissolve their waffles. And in the process of that, I'm also the facilitator of the 40-Day Growth and Prosperity Mastermind. And I am so pleased and honored, especially after I kind of messed up our appointment, to have Mrs. Wiley join us. So let me bring her into the screen. And let's see. Here she comes. There she
Hi.
is. Hey, I'm
Hey,
so
Katie,
glad
how
to
are you?
see you. Yeah,
Good to
and
see you.
I am
Good to
figuring
know
out
that
all
you're
this.
okay.
So yeah,
I
you
panicked. I'm
know,
like, oh my God, I hope she didn't die from COVID. That'd be horrible.
oh no, no,
Well,
no.
I still thought of the worst, right? So,
Right. We had our kids and their spouses and our 5 grandchildren here, and they left on Sunday, and it was such a fabulous 5 days. I
mhm.
can't even begin to tell you, and I am totally exhausted.
Okay.
So,
Well, I'm glad that's what it was. Oh gosh. Yeah.
yeah, so it kind of I was surprised at how much energy it took, right?
Mm, yeah.
Yeah, but it was great. So, Martika, first of all, tell everyone who you are and what you do and all of that, and we want
Okay.
to see.
Okay. My name's Martika Wiley. I'm an author and podcaster. I'm author of a book called Having Fun with God, a book report from Miss Winfrey, and the podcast I have is called Grieve with Ease
Hmm.
podcast, dealing with death and loss. Yeah.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
met Katie through, I believe it was a uh, Facebook group. Was it a Facebook group? On
No, it's about
podcasting?
podcasting.
It was about podcasting, and that's where I met Katie. And then she told me about this mastermind, and I thought, well, it was perfect because I was looking for a group to, converge with, to network with online that would like-minded, because nobody that I know, friends and family and community people, are doing what I'm doing. So I needed some group. I've been looking at like meetups and things like that, but nothing really kind of resonated. And Katie, I think, is so cute and cuddly, and her energy is just so loving. And I'm like, okay, well, this sounds good. And so we kind of kept in touch after you did uh, an interview with me on my podcast. So we kind of chatted a bit about it afterwards, and it sounded interesting, and I joined, and I've been loving it ever since. Made a few big decisions during it, from getting the support from the group and using, of course, my own intuition about leaving a job and doing this full time, and kind of taking a leap of faith, basically. Yeah, but it's good. I love meeting new people. I think it's a great way to network. And of course, I'm really need to discipline myself on the journaling, and always in that email that you sent, that was really good. Like, I'm sure I'm not the only one that pointed that out, that not everybody might be journaling every day like they should, or connecting with their accountability partners like they should. And so maybe there needs to be a little bit more structure and discipline around that. Yeah. But other than that, I mean, I think it's great. I mean, I've signed up again. So, whether I'm not doing the homework like I should be, at least the class is awesome. And I love my team, you know.
And what's exciting, Martika, is that this next session, we're over half full, and
Mm-hmm.
about 75% of the registrations for January are repeat people just like you.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Nice, nice.
and the beauty about this is that this system, this growth and prosperity system, works whether or not you stay on track. And you're a great example of that.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
there's actually a subgroup of us, and I was one of them,
Right.
where we call ourselves the day one
Mm-hmm.
journaling.
Yeah.
Where,
Well, yeah. And you know
yeah,
what? It's embarrassing as a writer. Like, you've written a book, so people label you and I don't like that label. But still, you think that I'd be able to at least write And I love that, you can just write whatever. It doesn't have to be around the question. And sometimes I'll be writing, okay, I'm just writing. And that's what I'd write. I'm just writing. Until something flows, right?
And,
So,
it's interesting that you mentioned that the writing, Martika, because there are some people who say, well, I'm not really a writer, but the journal prompts kind of give you something to think about.
yeah.
And like you said, you don't have to really write on what the prompts are. You can like pick whatever you want to write on, but it's a process of writing that stimulates the brain synapses.
Yeah, and even though I haven't been on top of it, I love that part. Like I love that that's included, that that's part of it, because writing does create thinking.
Yes.
It does.
Mhm.
It does.
Mhm.
And I need to change my thoughts, because it's so true. Change your thoughts and change your world. And so it's so easy to get caught up on all the negativity that's in the world. And so I've started to be more mindful of what I'm thinking about, and then being grateful, being grateful for this, being grateful for, doing the podcasting, taking that leap of faith from working in a nursing home to working for myself, which is scary because I'm not making any money right now. But I'm enjoying what I'm doing. It's a break. I feel better, and Katie's always noticing when people are shining and when they're not shining. So, but I love it because it's like a support group as well as a
Yeah.
networking platform. Yeah.
Yeah. What did you think about the accountability partners? Because we change them every week, right?
Yeah. Um, I feel that's a good idea, but not all of us are always wanting to. And the other part was I didn't always have their email or link to them at first, but then that changed, so it
Okay.
did help. But even still, when I reached out to my accountability partner, not always were they reaching out to me, and vice versa,
Mm.
I suppose. But um, I think maybe just a reminderance of in every session that we have, tap, 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 like that whole, right? You tap, and pardon the pun, but I mean, tapping that idea constantly, then they'll get into the habit of doing it and probably find that that's beneficial, just like the writing that creates thinking,
Mhm.
you're networking and supporting people in ways you never even thought.
Right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's so true. Yeah.
Yeah. I have fond memories of you sharing what you've written on your bathroom mirrors.
Oh yeah, you know what I have now? I have feel good. I have feel good written.
Feel good
I
is
have faith. I
great.
already have the faith. I just need to feel good. And then I told myself I need to smile more often, because I look at myself in the mirror. I look like I've been crying all night.
Oh.
You know when something kind of bothers you and you kind of put it in the back, and I think maybe in my sleep I am crying about it. I don't know, but I wake up and I look, why are my eyes so puffy like I've been crying all night?
Hmm.
So, um, I could use cucumbers, I guess, but at the same time, I'm thinking, just smile more and just think of good things, because I do
Hmm.
have a tendency to think the worst, like you didn't show up, and oh my God, what happened? She's in the hospital. Oh my God. And
And,
so,
yeah, truth, I had accidentally fallen asleep and taken
yeah,
an afternoon nap.
yeah, and that's perfectly normal. That's okay. But I'm like, I just thinking the worst, right? So,
Yeah.
yeah, that's funny.
And that's interesting that you bring that up, Martika, because the accountability partners do change every week. And
Mhm.
sometimes some of them are very involved and you develop deep relationships. And sometimes people just get busy
Yeah.
and they don't connect. And I found, because I was given accountability partners as well from time to time. And the same thing happened to me.
Mhm.
Sometimes they would connect and sometimes they wouldn't. But I always found the ones that I did make a connection with,
Mhm.
people like you, I
Mhm.
ended up with great friendships. And
Mhm.
I don't know how else I would have done this in
Yeah.
this environment, right?
Right. And it's funny you mentioned friendships, because I've been wanting to ask you about when you first came on on to do my podcast interview. You said that you heard voices, and I wanted to ask you about that, but then it had nothing to do with grief. So
Oh,
that was something I've been meaning to ask you about. Just a short convo. Apart from this, when you had time, just like a five
yeah.
ten minute convo. Yeah.
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 I'd love to tell you about that.
Yeah.
Now, part of what we do in the mastermind is we do these tapping sessions.
Yes.
And I've been trained in level 1, level 2, level 3, quantum and trauma, and I'm in the process of becoming a trainer. But part of the quantum is going back into past lives. And that's been very interesting. So yeah, let's definitely schedule our talk, and I'll share with
I would
you.
love that. I would love
Yeah.
that.
So maybe after this interview, we can talk
Yeah,
about
I would
that. So
love
yeah,
that.
we end up with great friendships.
Mhm.
And even after the mastermind, we end up with people that we can reach out to and connect with and find out what they're doing and
Mhm.
stay with them. So we had the journaling, we had the networking. What did you think of the Zoom sessions?
I love the Zoom sessions. I wanted to talk about the tapping part because you did touch on that. And I found, even though some of us might not have had a bad day or that we've had nothing to tap on, I would take advantage of it only because why not? I remember being in a class where the teacher says you get out of it what you put into it. So if you're just going to
Mm-hmm.
sit there and not answer any questions or not participate in class, which is what I did most of my school years, um, so now I'm doing it. I'm like, okay, well, I'll pick something that's even if it's a minor thing, like, oh, okay, just I don't know, I just don't feel, that great, or whatever the case was. And I just found that doing the tapping, regardless of what the matter was or the issue was or where the area in the body was, I think it benefited everybody. So this is why I would put my hand up and just say, oh, somebody's bothering me and I just want to tap them out of my head. Yeah.
Yeah, and what you're talking about is a side effect called borrowing benefits. So
Mhm.
when we do tapping in a group, and when I'm talking about tapping, I'm talking about emotional freedom technique, where we just touch different parts of our body while we are stating, of all things, negative statements, which you'd think, "Ugh, why negative?" But you
Mhm.
learn about that in the mastermind. But the borrowing benefits is when the practitioner is working with a client, and if everybody else in the Zoom room is tapping along as well, even though it may not be your issue or your concern, you can feel an energy shift in your own body.
Mhm.
And so thank you for bringing that up. That's
Yeah.
a really important part of what we do.
Mhm. And
Yeah.
it's funny because I am sensitive and I can tell if somebody wants to but isn't going to be for whatever reason. And I've been there. So when I do find that I have the courage, I'm like, okay, I'll do it. It doesn't happen often, but once in a while. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. So what would you tell somebody who says, what is this about growth and prosperity? Like, what kind of growth and prosperity did you come out of the mastermind with?
Well, career change.
That's a big one.
Yeah, it is a big one. And I got a check for $50 in the mail. And I mean, I rarely get checks. People are usually, it's all direct payments now. So that was like, to me, that wasn't a coincidence. I think there was a shift within myself and it
Mm.
started to open up even just a little bit. $50 doesn't seem like a big deal, but I was excited, better than a kick in the butt. So that, and then of course, just leaving the workplace, that was a huge thing after 5.5 years of trying to figure it out. And I'm like, you know what, I'm just going to have to do it. And because I just couldn't handle the stress in the workplace anymore. I was starting to get burned out. And if I didn't do anything about it, I would have ended up in the hospital again. Because that's what
Mm.
happened last time. I wasn't listening to my intuition. I was just go, 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 go. I have to do this.
Mhm.
And now I'm stopping and I'm listening and paying attention and I'm meeting people and more miracles are happening. So I'm grateful for that. I'm not even worried and stressed out like how I used to be. I'm finding
Mm.
I'm spending a lot more days really relaxing and doing a lot of nothing.
Mm.
But in between that, I am doing things. I've had people reach out to me to do questions about maybe their being on their podcast.
Mm.
Somebody on Podit reached out, although after I responded, I didn't hear back, so not sure about that one. But a lot of things and a lot more things.
Well,
So
and the group that you were in, were you in the 6 p.m.
yeah,
group? Okay, in
yeah,
6 p.m. group, we actually had another podcaster in that group.
nice.
Yeah, and Anne
Is
Marie.
she Anne Marie? Right. Yes,
Mhm.
I know Anne Marie. She's a delight.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And so it was nice to be able to share experiences and what works and what doesn't work. And
Yeah, I was hoping to be paired up with her in the accountability partner. I should have requested that.
oh,
Oh
yeah,
my gosh, it was well, they were all great. It's just that I wanted to talk to her about podcasting. Not everybody in the group was a podcaster.
it's not too late.
It's
That's
not
the,
too late. I know. That's
yeah,
all good. I just thought I'd make that request, put that out there ahead of time.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you're a repeat mastermind. So that's very exciting. Yeah.
Mhm.
That's very exciting. So, as you come in on your next mastermind, what goals are you looking to go after? What are you looking from this one?
Well, with this one, to I guess just to expand what I'm doing now, to I'm trying to develop some kind of structure for my podcast show. There's 52 weeks in a year, and it's every week, I should say, the podcast. So I'm trying to figure out how to structure it. Right now, I'm not sure. So I've just been asking guidance from the universe basically, and how to go about it. My intuition is telling me just interviewing people that have stories on grief, like
Mm.
that they've overcome, that other people could relate to. So when they
Mhm.
listen, they're like, okay, I'm not alone. They feel better. Like my whole intention is to really help people grieve with ease. And of course, I wouldn't mind a client or two on the side that wouldn't mind taking me on one. And of course, there's the website that I'm constantly updating. Right now, it just looks a bit of a messy to me because it's not consistent, some of the pages. But I mean, at least it's live, it's there. There's information if somebody's interested in knowing more. But then, yeah, I'd like to have that done. I'd like to kind of be ahead in the podcasting, and then also be another podcast, be a guest as well. So
Yeah.
those would be my basic goals for the year. Yeah.
Those are great goals. And you yourself have a very moving personal stories about grief that you're sharing on your podcast. So
Yes.
for those who are interested, I strongly encourage you to listen to Martika's podcast. She has some really amazing stories. So Martika, this is the part where I want you to tell everyone about you and how they can reach you, and
Okay.
if they want to have anything more to do and find out about all that you're doing to help people move through grief.
Yeah, okay. Well, if anyone's interested to know more, you can go to my website, which is grievewithease.com, or you can email me with any questions or comments at grievewithease at gmail.com.
And is that grievewithease.com?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
great.
Grievewithease.com. Yes.
Okay, great, great,
Yes.
great.
Thank you.
Well, Martika, I so appreciate you coming on and letting people know what they would experience through the Growth and Prosperity Mastermind. And I'm honored and thrilled that you're returning. We have many of the past participants who are doing that, and I'm so looking forward to it. And you know what? Later this afternoon, you and I will get together and we'll talk some more. How's
Yes.
that?
Thank you. Love that.
Oh, thank you so much, Martika. I so appreciate you coming on board. Thanks.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.
So Martika was one of the many who are returning more than one time because they got so much value out of the Growth and Prosperity Mastermind. What does it consist of? Well, as you heard, every day early in the morning, you would receive a tapping prompt. And the tapping prompt is kind of short. And you would be asked to spend a little time to reflect on it and then to write your response. It doesn't have to be very large. It's just a response. Now, every day you'll have day one, then next day 2, next day 3. And just to let you know, when we first started this, Chrissy, who started this with me, she started day 1, day 2, day 3, and she was a solopreneur. And she got busy. And so she skipped a day. Well, the instructions are when you skip a day, go back to day 1 and start over again. And it's interesting that when you go back to day 1 and start over again, you're going to end up with different responses, which seems strange. Have you ever read the same book twice, only a few years difference, and you get different responses? I know when I was growing up, my favorite book was Cheaper by the Dozen. I just thought it was fabulous to have been one child among 11 siblings. The stories about two parents who were both industrial engineers, efficiency experts, and they raised a dozen children. And the book was written by one of the children. She made it sound so magical. It was fabulous. Well, I read the book again just recently as a parent, and I thought, oh my gosh, I would have gone crazy with 12 kids. And how did they make this work? And all the energy that they took on it. And it was the same book. The book didn't change, but I changed. And that's what happens to you when you start with the journaling and you skip a day. No big worries. You go back to day one and start over again. So every day you will receive a journaling prompt. Once a week, you will receive a accountability partner. And in your accountability partner, you would check in with each other. And it can be as simple, hey, how you doing with your journaling? And just like Martika said, some of your accountability partners are going to be right there with you and are going to be saying, hey, what's going on? And you're going to develop a relationship. And some of your accountability partners are just going to be busy. And that's okay too. But you reaching out to them and them reaching out to you kind of gives you some sense of accountability where you are going to feel like, oh, okay, somebody's checking in to find out how I'm doing. The other option, the other feature that we have, it's not an option, it's a feature, is a voluntary twice a week Zoom session. And in that Zoom session, everybody gets together. And when we get together, we share our wins and we celebrate because we are promoting one another. And we also share some of our disappointments and some of our challenges. And we offer empathy. We offer our support. We offer our feelings to help one another move through challenges. And of course, we're going to be tapping. I'll be leading the tapping. We usually have, we have a couple of people who are going to be tapping in there as well. So you will be able to learn the tapping procedure, and that's a skill that you'll be able to take with you for the rest of your life. This year, the January session is $497, and that's for 40 days. That includes the daily journaling, the weekly accountability partner, and the twice a week Zoom sessions. If you register and pay by tomorrow, December 31st, I am going to offer you a $50 discount. That's more than 10%. All you have to do is email me at hello@drnall.com for your discount. On January 1st, the price will return to $497, which is still a bargain. So I'm looking forward to hearing from you. Feel free to reach out to me and to let me know any questions. I'll put some more information underneath this particular video, and I look forward to seeing you in January. Signing off, Dr. Katie Nall. Bye.